This episode is being brought to you by Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alaska Realty. Whether you're investing in residential, buying or selling commercial properties anywhere in the state of Alaska, we're here to assist. To reach us, you can contact me at lottie@lottiemichael.com or my cell phone, 907-242-7603. And for comments or questions about residential properties, reach out to Connie Yoshimura at 907-229-2703, 229-2703.
Hey, Lottie. Happy 4th of July. It's been a while since you and I have been together, so I know we need to catch up and talk about a thing. So our podcaster consultant said that on the 4th of July, for this particular episode, it may get a little political because I know you and I have different political philosophies, but what we really all do is love America, and that's the most important thing. But I'd like to talk a little bit about how we arrived at this particular point in our lives, not in real estate per se, but I know that you come from a different background, and I do also. So let's begin with you. You go first.
On the surface, you would think that Connie's just got off the boat. But actually, I'm first generation. You're second or third.
Third generation.
Yeah, so
right.
see,
You just got here. All right, so how did you get here? Tell me about that.
My mother and father were born in Lebanon. When my mother was, I don't know, a young adult or teenager or whatever, she and her parents got on a boat and in Lebanon, got off the boat in Montreal, Canada. If you go there, you can go through the paperwork and see when they got off the boat and how they came up with their names. That wasn't the names they were given, their last names. From Montreal, she took a train over to Alberta, Canada. From Alberta, went down to the Seattle area. And from Seattle, after I was born, I was an infant. They moved to Alaska for the adventure, but mainly for the opportunity, which is really what you and I sell here. The hope and the dream and the opportunity that Alaska affords.
Before I talk about my story a little bit, I want to relate that I was on the Alaska Airlines flight to Russia for the very first time. And Russia, back in the 1980s, had no home ownership whatsoever.
Wow.
And when we came to the when the Russians came to the United States, most of them, the young Russians, came to UAA, but they had never seen home ownership. And I will just never forget that. And we had one instance where some Russians wanted to buy a home in Turnagain View Estates in South Anchorage, where I was the developer and the listing licensee. And they closed on the house with KeyBank, if I recall correctly. There was a dispute where to put the satellite dish because they wanted to make sure that they had good communication with Russia. And the covenants, codes, and restrictions would not allow them to put the satellite dish on the front of the house. And so what they said is, we'll just give you the keys back. So they really just needed to have a basic understanding of what home ownership really was, because there was no home ownership in Russia. And I will always remember that and be grateful for the fact that in America, we do have home ownership, which is the opportunity for most of us to generate some wealth and security in our lives.
Yep.
My family, so I am a third generation Japanese American. My grandfather came from Japan. My father was born in California and then moved to Arizona. And my father practiced a Japanese trade he was a chicken sexer. Now, stop laughing. This is a Japanese, not trait, but it is a Japanese skill that is only done really by the Japanese, which means when baby chicks are born, they have to be separated by their gender, right? And all of the hens, the baby chicks, are put in a box, and the males, there's only one male per box. And the rest of the males go in a barrel and, of course, are suffocated. But what I would tell you is their fur is as soft as a mink, really. And it's just really a special skill set. And so during World War II, or at the beginning of World War II, my father and his brother were practicing the skills. And of course, in Iowa, there were a lot of chicken farms, and all that sort of thing. And as a result of that's how he met my mother, who was a beautiful young.
She just couldn't
She
resist
couldn't
this
resist.
handsome.
Well, they were like playboys because they always drove fast cars, right? Because they would travel across the United States, and they were always paid in cash. So they were like the playboys of the Japanese Americans, which is how my mother and my father were met. But the other side of the story is they were exempt from going into the military
And
because
internment camps.
and they
The
and
horrible
camps.
discipline.
So I did have family members that were interned at the camp. And of course, that sort of brings back some difficult memories historically for what we're seeing now with immigration policies. So it's hard sometimes, I don't know, for you and for me, to see some of the things that are currently going on in the United States now, because it does bring back some difficult family history. But aside from all of that, I am grateful to be in America.
Oh, absolutely. And the truth is, I've said this before, but I think we all want the same thing, and we all love this country. Do we want to tweak it and make improvements? Absolutely. But we're starting from this fabulous base, and whether you're a D or an R or an independent, I think at the end of the day, we want safe communities and happy families and well-educated people, and we want to give everybody the opportunity to realize their dreams. And we have different ideas of how to get there, but I think if we back up and just give each other a little bit of grace, it'll be sweeter.
I would say, having in 1776 with Thomas Jefferson, I had the opportunity a few years ago to go to Monticello. And some of the issues that we are facing today, they faced, and we are continuing to face those.
Really? Huh?
Thomas Jefferson had a secret life, which really wasn't so secret,
I
actually.
forgot her name.
And her name was, and I don't remember her name, although I have a book. She was a
Yeah.
slave. She was also his mistress,
Yeah.
and she was
The mother
also
of his several children.
and she was also mulatto. She was mixed race.
Okay.
And the slaves lived in very small huts, and they farmed. It's called Mulberry Row, and that's where they did all the farming there for Thomas Jefferson and Monticello. Some of the same issues that we face today were still there and in the very, very beginning. Sometimes things never really end. There is always issues, whether it's Asian or Middle Eastern or whatever. But in general, what I want to say is I'm grateful to be in Alaska. We want to take a quick moment to thank Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alaska Realty for supporting this episode. One of the things we appreciate about our team is that our agents do far more than open a door. We help clients understand neighborhoods, evaluate investment opportunities, navigate commercial leases, prepare homes for sale, and make smart long-term real estate decisions. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a growing business looking for office space, or a national or international Fortune 500 company exploring opportunities in Alaska, we're here to facilitate and help you. Visit Berkshire Hathaway Home Services AlaskaRealty.com to connect with Lottie Michael at 907-242-7603 or Connie Yoshimura at 907-229-2703.
Right. Not just the U.S., but Alaska gives us so much more freedom and opportunity. So if you're ready to do some work and ready to make some sacrifices, it doesn't come without concessions. I think there's fabulous opportunity.
You and I have both had an excellent career in real estate, you in commercial, me in residential. And I don't believe that I could have done what I have done here in any other place other than Alaska, because it truly is the last frontier.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you are willing to do here. It's not without sacrifice and it's not without hard work, but there is still unlimited opportunity
Yeah,
in Alaska. And you feel the same way. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So what's in our future? What is your plan for the future?
That's a big question. I honestly think I'm living my best life. I'm blessed with a good family and I love my strong work ethic. My real estate practice is vibrant and I'm just very grateful. And what I look forward to is Alaska continuing to prosper, whether that's only in the petroleum industry or whether we have industries that we haven't even thought about yet. The electrical, Don, you're gonna have to fix this.
All the AI, all the data
power,
centers,
data centers. Okay. So whether our incoming industry or our next industry is data centers and how that works, and we've got the land here, we've got the weather that works for it. So we don't know yet, but I just think tomorrow is always better than today, and I think today's pretty dang good.
And of course, in my realm of real estate, we're always talking about home ownership. And I want to continue to work to provide home ownership, not just for the multi-million-dollar buyer, but for the entry-level buyer as well. And I think there are several programs that are forthcoming that will help that first-time home buyer get on the housing ladder to generate some wealth. And so I'm very interested in continuing my career in residential real estate and primarily in home ownership. I think everybody, that's the dream actually that my family had for home ownership. After World War II, those that were interned, they had lost everything as far as their business is concerned and any sort of truck farming, land, and that sort of thing. So I think that I'm very grateful to be in the position that I'm in today as far as home ownership. And that's all part of America, really. Going back to 1776, originally the Declaration was really for Caucasian men.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. There were no minorities, there were no women, right?
Not visible.
Yeah.
We were invisible.
So think how far America has come.
Yeah.
And it hasn't all been easy.
No, but it's, at least for my lifetime, it's been great fun. The challenges are exciting, and yeah, I'm excited about the future. I'm especially excited about what's in store for Alaska.
And I feel exactly the same way. I remember when I drove up here with my boyfriend on the Alcan Highway, there was no part of it that was paved. And I remember there were several Chinese restaurants, or truck stops coming through Canada. And all I wanted to know was whether a big plane came here because I wanted to go back. At that particular time, I wanted to get on the next plane and go back to California, which is where I had migrated to from Iowa. But here we are after all this, right? I came here in 1979, and we've lived through several decades of up and down real estate recessions, boom and bust. And the whole idea is this is America and we're free to do whatever it is we set our minds to. Yeah.
But boom and bust is just life cycles. It's not really a boom and it's not really a bust. It's a time to plant and it's a time to sow and it's a time to make hay and it's a time to clean up. It's just life. And if we don't, real estate is like
life.
that.
Is life. Real estate follows life, right? Yeah. And what I always say, there's real estate for marriage, birth, death, divorce, and job change. And those are the 5 major life events that encourage people to buy or sell and to invest, right?
And change it up. Be fluid.
All right.
Well, happy birthday to all of us.
Happy birthday.
250 years.
250 years, and let's hope for 250 more.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is a little bit of an extra that we're going to do at the end of every podcast. We're going to interview one of our Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alaska Realty who's just completed a transaction. And so we're here today with Brittany Moses in her very, very nice office. I love your office. It looks really great.
Thank you.
How long have you been in real estate?
11 years.
11 years. So you know a lot, right?
I do.
Yeah. How did you end up, or how did you come to acquire this listing opportunity?
Yes, I had just closed on another multifamily property, and it was a difficult transaction, but very challenging, and it was wonderful experience actually. And so they referred me to a family member for another multifamily transaction, and I was not the first agent, so I came into an aging property that had already been on the MLS and got it sold.
So I'm wondering if because you have these multifamily opportunities, didn't you tell me at one point in time that you have an accounting background?
I do. Yes. Yes, I have an accounting background. It seems like another lifetime, but yes, I did accounting.
Okay. Well, and you graduated here at UAA?
I didn't fully graduate at UAA. I actually graduated at University of Phoenix. So I did a hybrid, so half UAA, half University of Phoenix.
Do you think having that accounting background helps you in real estate?
Definitely. It allows me to understand the numbers behind these transactions, and it really helps me in a lot of deals, actually.
What was the most difficult part of the transaction?
Gaining the seller's trust. And because they were very weary, and they didn't think that we were all on the same team. So coming to that and getting them to understand we're in this together. I'm here for you. I'm here for to make sure that everything works out in your favor and everyone walks away happy. And that's what we did.
All right. So is this the second or third or fourth or fifth multifamily property that you sold?
Yeah, it's probably the fifth, actually. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell us about fourplexes in today's market. There aren't any new fourplexes, are they? Most of them are older.
Most of them are older. Yeah, especially in Anchorage. You'll see them out in Wasilla, but in Anchorage, it's definitely an aging product.
So what are some of the challenges with an aging product like that?
Repairs, inspections. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things are coming up on those inspections that they're big ticket items.
Who pays for some of those issues, I guess? Does it usually come, that's the negotiating part, right?
That's definitely the negotiating part. Yeah.
What's your negotiating theory? Do you have a protocol that you follow? Do you have,
not necessarily. It's more so picking and choosing the battle, right? You're either going with the cost up front or the seller doing the repair, coming down more so with credits so that the buyer can do their own repairs and everyone can be happy, because typically people have a different idea of how something should be repaired and the quality of work. So
it's better to put it on the buyer side.
Correct.
To give an allowance or a cost benefit or closing costs, and let the buyer do those repairs, because then he's going to be satisfied with them. He's the one that's going to have selected the contractor to do the work, and so the liability then is really off of the seller.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. We've just had a very similar situation like that in an older resale property. But the question I think that is most important, do you recommend that a seller get a home inspection or a property inspection prior to putting the property on the market or after?
That depends on the property, but
okay.
I think it's helpful if the seller is aware that there's items that could pop up and they're willing to get it done. But then it also can give this, if the seller's not going to do it, they can disclose it and then price it accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, that's where that helps.
All right. Well, that's Brittany Moses, and who sold 5 multifamily properties in the last couple of years.
Yes, for sure.
And what helps her a lot is her accounting background. So if you have a multifamily property that hasn't sold, right, you should call Brittany because she can get the job done. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
Thanks again to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alaska Realty for sponsoring this episode. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in the great state of Alaska, be sure to contact us. Connie Yoshimura at 907-229-273, or for commercial activity, Lottie Michael, CCIM at 907-242-7603.